Now, Prince Harry. Well, he's made a series of explosive claims in his tell-all memoir, Spare. Today, it's been revealed that Harry believed his father, now King Charles, of course, actually feared Meghan and had the potential to dominate the monarchy and become another Diana for the public and the press. Quite the allegation there. Amongst the others are that his brother, Prince William, physically attacked him during an argument and that the brothers begged their father not to marry Camilla. He also admits to taking cocaine, losing his virginity behind a pub aged 17, and also claims to have killed 25 Taliban fighters while serving in Afghanistan. Right, there's quite a lot to get into there. To give his thoughts, his royal commentator, Rafe Hadel-Manku. Rafe, now we were just chatting in the break there, and it was reported that Prince Harry wanted to cancel the publication of this book altogether, but then, of course, he went through with it. Has it backfired?
Yes, well, certainly. We had a story back in August that after meeting the Queen, he wanted to pull the publication. And again, after her death, worried about the impact it would have. The publishers obviously did not want that to happen at all. But now we can see perhaps his fears were justified.
Yes.
Because, yes, I would say absolutely this has backfired for him, not only in Britain, but around the world, and particularly in America, which was traditionally the heartland for the Sussex squad. But even there, we've actually seen prominent US TV anchors and hosts and presenters calling the book gauche, saying that Prince Harry is a man baby. And all of this actually matters, you know, because I don't think he's realised fully that in America, the interest in the monarchy and the respect for the monarchy is because it's above their own vulgar celebrity culture of the Kardashians. It stands for dignity, for sophistication, for elegance. In the American terms, it's classy. And there's nothing classy about this book and this episode. It's vulgar, it's gauche, it's déclassé, and Harry's made himself an international laughing stock and just basically, I think, a joke around the world.
But he looks like a complete buffoon. I think it's fair to say I don't think that's an exaggeration. And as you said, it was very interesting indeed to see the likes of a CNN anchor who has been very deferent to the couple, who's been very positive about them anyway, in his news coverage prior to this, is now thinking, well, actually, I don't really want to be seen to be on the side of these two money-grabbing, over-the-top lunatics, it appears in some ways. I think there is an element of concern that Harry may... that he's very troubled. He's clearly very troubled indeed, and I don't believe that this is the path to happiness. Why do you think he's doing this?
Well, I think it's interesting to look at the timeline, right? We have 2012, Harry's second tour of Afghanistan, where he allegedly killed 25 Taliban without thinking about it, able to disconnect that. 2016, he meets Meghan Markle. 2019, he's scared when his brother breaks his necklace and his dog ball, and he's on the phone to his therapist. Now, is there a connection there? I'm not entirely sure, but, you know, I'll let others speculate on that. I think a lot of this actually is down to the influence of the Machiavellian manipulator, Meghan herself. I used to call her the Yoko Ono of the royal family, but actually that's unfair on Yoko Ono now.
Do you think that's fair?
It's not fair for Yoko Ono, actually, who doesn't deserve that.
Right. As a woman, I'm going to put the other side and say, do you think it's fair to say that she is the manipulator behind all this? Because I do think it's very odd indeed that Prince Harry seems to see, and this is just my feeling, but other people have remarked upon it, seem to feel that Meghan is some kind of reincarnation of his own mother. There's deep troubles.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm not denying that at all. I mean, she's the yin to his yang in a very unfortunate sort of way. And certainly he's projected onto Meghan so much of what he sees in his mother. And also there are reports in the book, of course, that he's actually been seeking psychic help to contact his mother. Clearly a very troubled person. But I think therapy, this Californian therapy culture which Meghan espouses, you know, sitting in a circle singing Kumbaya whilst you're drinking your ethically sourced chai, I think that this is very much part of the problem. You know, I read a report a few years ago that Swedish children are the world's most depressed, despite living in arguably one of the world's most successful countries. Why? Because they're constantly told to talk about their feelings. There's this obsession with how I feel. It's very self-indulgent. It's very narcissistic. And I'm afraid right now, when we have a cost of living crisis, when people are trying to decide whether to eat or heat, when you've got NHS crisis going on, health troubles from post-COVID, I think there's very little sympathy for a pair of privileged, pampered prima donnas in California moaning about the fact that, you know, his evil stepmother changed his bedroom into a dressing room once he left home.
Well, I mean, it certainly looks self-indulgent. I'll give that, and certainly appears narcissistic. I mean, there's so much we could talk about on this. I will just get your take on that latest line that apparently King Charles feared Meghan.
Well, again, I think this is just more frenzied paranoia from a fevered mind, unfortunately. You also have to remember a lot of this is written, all of it's written by a ghostwriter with a desire to obviously have a tabloid flair to all of these stories. So these aren't actually Harry's words coming out. They're spun to wonderfully tabloid effect by his ghostwriter. But look, the whole point was Kate, for example, was never, and William aren't a threat to the king. He knows that those are two of his greatest assets, and yet apparently he regarded them as a threat to his own glamour and glory too. The fact is, the monarchy is a unit that works tremendously well together, and William and Kate are two of its greatest assets.
Also, I'm quite angry, actually, about this mention of how many people he killed in Afghanistan. We've seen the reaction on social media and in the press from actual members of the Taliban. This is worrying not only presumably for him and his family, of whom he always talks about the need for their safety and how that is his #1 priority, but also of the royal family and us general Brits.
This is, I think, the most serious issue. Forget all the jokes and the family squabbles. What he's done essentially is to increase the threat level for all of us, not just for himself. And we remember how he didn't want to come to the UK because of what he perceived as a threat level. Well, that threat level has now increased thanks to his own incompetence and ineptitude. And it's not just to the royal family, because Di Davis, who's the former Royal Protection Officer of many years standing, head of the Royal Protection, has said he's not felt this afraid for royal security for 25 years since the IRA. Why? Because we have the coronation coming up, a huge national, if not global event, bringing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to the heart of London. Now, all it takes is one lone wolf to be inspired by the Taliban's rhetoric, calling Harry a war criminal and regarding Afghanis as nothing more than chess pieces, to take action on that. It's very serious, and I don't think that they fully understood this in Montecito.
I mean, it's quite remarkable that no one said, Harry, you should probably remove that bit. Have you not thought about the implications of that and the risks to you and your country? But hey, clearly not showing the most intelligence, I would say, or foresight. But thank you very much indeed, royal commentator Rafe Haidel-Manku. Thank you for your insight.